Chapter 26, Mishnah 8. The previous Mishnah taught that if an object can be used for a certain purpose without being changed at all, it is subject to Tuma as soon as the owner intends to use it for that purpose. Our Mishnah limits the application of this rule regarding the hides of a householder, i.e. any person who does not sell hides for a living. His intent makes him capable of becoming Tameh. That is, if he intends to use a leather hide for a certain purpose, such as a mat, and it is ready for that purpose, it can become Tameh immediately, as taught in the previous Mishnah. But regarding the hides of a tanner who sells hides for a living, his intent does not make them capable of becoming Tameh. When a tanner designates a piece of leather for his own use, even if it is ready for the purpose he intends, it does not become subject to Tuma. This is because a tanner usually sells his leather. Thus, even if he decides to keep a piece of leather for himself, he may well change his mind and sell it to a customer. That customer, being the new owner, might decide to use the leather for a purpose, such as shoes, for which physical change is required, in which case the leather would not become Tameh until the change is made. Given this possibility, the tanner's designation is not final, since he knows that it might be sold and designated for a purpose that requires change. The Mishnah now deals with cases in which leather hides were stolen. There is a difference in this regard between a thief, ganaf, who steals without the owner knowing, and a robber, gazlan, who steals openly, by force or by threatening force. If hides were stolen by a thief, one who steals without the owner's knowledge, his intent makes them capable of becoming Tameh. That is, if the thief intends to use the hides in their current condition, for example as a mat, they are immediately subject to Tuma, since the hides were stolen secretly, and thus the owner does not know the thief's identity. The owner gives up hope of bringing the thief to court and getting his property back. It is a rule that when the owner of stolen property gives up hope of retrieving it, the thief becomes its owner. Being the owner, the thief can change the hide's status with respect to Tuma. But regarding hides stolen by a robber, one who steals in the open, his intent does not make them capable of becoming Tameh. Since the owner knows the robber's identity, he does not give up hope of taking the thief to court and retrieving his property. Therefore, the robber does not become their owner, and his intent does not change their Tuma status. A dissenting view. Rabbi Shimon says the opposite. If hides were stolen by a robber, his intent makes them capable of becoming Tameh. According to Rabbi Shimon, it is in the case of the robber who steals openly and without fear that the owner gives up hope of getting his property back, because he assumes that the court has no power over such a fearless person. The robber therefore becomes the owner of the hides, and his intent can change their status. But if they were stolen by a thief, his intent does not make them capable of becoming Tameh, because the owner does not give up hope of getting them back. When hides are stolen by a thief, although the owner does not know the thief's identity right away, he trusts that the thief will eventually be found and brought to justice. Accordingly, the thief does not become the owner of the hides, and his intent does not affect them.